Learning English is like learning to ride a bike, or learning to drive a car, or building muscles. It takes practice. It's a process that takes time. Hi, welcome to English with Bruno Fernandes. My name is Bruno, and I am here to help you learn and improve your English. In this video, I want to talk about how I went from this, hi, nice to meet you. I am learning English. Could you help me? We can be friends. What do you think to this? Hi, nice to meet you. I'm learning English. Could you help me? We can be friends. What you think? But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the bell so you will not miss anything. Also, don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoy this video. The first thing I remember doing back in the day was I used to spend a lot of time. I used to spend hours every day talking to people online. So before I started talking to people in English online to practice my English, which by the way was by voice calls on Skype, my English was really bad. My English was rubbish. It really was. So I didn't have anybody to practice my English with, which meant that I was not making progress with my speaking, which sucked. I spent a lot of time learning English grammar, watching MTV in English, and listening to music as well. So these are the things that I did prior to me starting to talk to people regularly. So even though I did not practice my English during that time, I certainly was in a way preparing myself for what was ahead, which is all of this. So before I started talking to people, I made sure that I knew as many words as possible, phrasal verbs, expressions. I made sure that my grammar mainly was good, because I knew that if I wanted to be able to speak English, to speak proper English, grammatically correct, I would need to be good at grammar. So for writing properly and for speaking properly, you need to know grammar. So I focused a lot on grammar as well. So I was definitely not wasting time. I was working hard. I really was. And so when I moved to Portugal and began to talk to native speakers daily, I realized two things. Number one, my spoken English sucked. And the second thing that I realized was that was what I needed to improve and to speak English more naturally. Yeah, so I tried to do it every day because I knew that if I spoke English daily, it would benefit me in a very positive way. And man, it did. It wasn't always easy. I have a stutter, and having to talk to people, to strangers online in a different language, is kind of scary. So I would take advantage of every opportunity that I had to practice my English and make the most of it. The cool thing about it is that I made friends and spoke with people who were learning my native language as well, which was pretty cool. It was a fun experience, with no judgment. It was very enjoyable while it lasted. I made lots of mistakes, which is good. As learners, we need to make mistakes because I learn from them. And I would encourage you guys to ask people to correct your mistakes, because if you don't ask them, if you don't tell them, they will not do it. If you want to learn, if you want to be good, you have to have someone correct you. Otherwise, you will keep making the same mistakes again and again and again, which is not ideal. You don't want that. So they will not correct you unless you ask them to do it. I truly believe that being able to practice my English daily really made a difference in my speaking, because over time I made lots of progress, lots and lots of progress, and it works. So the more time I spent talking to friends in English, the better I got at it, and the easier it got, and it became more natural, which is the goal, which was the goal at the time. However, it did not happen over time. It did not happen over time. It did not. It definitely didn't. In order to achieve this, in order to be able to speak English naturally, instantly, fluently, you have to be patient. You have to be committed. You have to be determined. You have to be focused. Without these, you will fail big time. The other thing that I did as well was watching lots of TV shows and listening to podcasts. To be honest with you, I did not understand most of what I would watch at first, but that did not hold me back. It didn't. No, it didn't. I would continue to do it again and again and again, and slowly but surely, I started to make progress. It started to make sense. It got easier. So the more you listen to things in English, the more your ears get used to English. And on top of that, you improve your pronunciation as well, which is pretty cool. If your listening is not good, your speaking and pronunciation will suck. Yeah, that's right. So I would listen to stuff in English every single day, hours. Yeah, I had no life. English was my first priority in life, and so I did whatever it took to be this good. Yeah, it works. I would encourage you to do the same. There is a saying in English that goes something like this: practice makes perfect. So the key really is practice, 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 practice. I think it all comes down to two things. Listening and speaking. Well, is it three? Is it practice? No, practice your listening, practice your speaking. So two things. The more you practice your listening and speaking, the more natural English will sound to your ears, and the more natural you speak English. If you don't have good input, you will not have good output. And that's the bottom line, I think. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. Thanks a bunch. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.